just said, "Whoa, my God, the honey badger! What an animal!" I'd say, it wouldn't make a good pet. A honey badger would not make a good
No.
pet.
I am
You
assuming
know?
you are referring to the honey badger that is narrated.
Oh, that is hilarious with the gay
Oh,
guy. That is well,
yeah.
nothing that
Oh,
not that there's anything wrong with that, but but
that is that
that's a
is one
really
of the
funny
funniest
video.
videos I've ever seen. I mean,
That's how I first heard about the honey badger. But now, when you watch these videos of the animal kingdom, it's pretty amazing. I mean, I just watched this video about polar bears, and somehow they got these polar bears. What would you call it? Recreating or basically having sex, and it was like fascinating, how the bear had to fight off other bears to be able to have the woman bear. It's just mind
If your
blowing. I
wife
mean,
knew you
just
were watching that,
don't
Jan, you would be
know
in so much
why that
trouble.
surprise doesn't surprise me. Just
she calls it porno. I don't understand why.
I tell you though, Wayne, I what speaking down in your area, there's a lot of videos out there of people herding sheep, Australian sheep, the dogs, how
Oh yeah,
they herd.
rightio.
Yeah,
I,
yeah,
I
yeah,
watched one on a few little critters the other day down in Tasmania
yeah.
because I don't know, I was just surfing around on the news feed, but I did find that farming one, Morgan Gold, is it? And
Yeah.
he has really good music. So if he's doing a thing on the chooks and he's got this orchestra music and it's really quite good quality. I mean, he narrates it very well. I think it's quite entertaining. I thought one of yous might have ran into him because he seems to be. I thought he did a good job, and then I think one day he was flying somewhere and he must do shows somewhere because he was showing photos of large electrons. And the other thing on the waves thing. So I have no experience on the waves because I just can't afford them. It's the bottom line of the plugins. So I've done none, but I've had a few plugins that the analog ones that they'll disconnect on you sometimes, and you
Now,
have
I
a bit
like the
of.
way you went from bears having sex in the wild
No,
to
you
the
did that.
plugins. I understand what you got there. I see how your mind works now, Wayne.
No, that was the Jan. So it's a
So,
bit of a.
welcome to Thinking Out Loud with Friends, everybody. Hey, welcome. This is, I was shocked to find out how long we've been doing this now. We're going on 6 years. Unbelievable. 6 years. So, and we're going now on 7 years because we passed the anniversary date. But welcome. Just remember, everything you hear today is an opinion. Do your own research. We're having a great time. And anyway, so you can't afford a Waves plugin?
No, it costs a few pennies, all that stuff. I'm
Well,
flat
you
out.
could buy the small ones, get like I bought a package for myself and my computer only for $80, that has a bunch of stuff in it, limiters, echo, some reverb, but you could start with the small, work your way up.
Don't you need the server though? The server, you need a.
No,
No?
no,
Oh,
you do
wow.
not.
So it just works on your PC.
That's
Wow.
right.
There you go.
I
So,
happen to know somebody
Yeah,
who is a Waves dealer.
choose your interface. Like in Pro Tools, it works perfectly, but it works in almost any audio program.
wow.
So if you're recording on Audacity or something, I bet it works with Audacity too.
So I've got Harrison, the Pro 12. So those
Yeah.
inserts would just go into that. So I did some experiments with that and my console, my little baby console, and I found that the processor was working pretty hard in my PC. It would sort of get up to because I was trying to do it as the least amount of latency, and it would just get hit the 100% and
What other things do you have running? Like if you have antivirus on your PC running at the same time, it's going to take up CPU cycles.
yeah, all that stuff.
Yeah,
Well, it's
yeah.
tough on Windows 95. Come on.
Yeah. Oh, but Windows 2000 was great though.
I don't think I ever saw Windows 95.
I upgraded to XP. It's running great. Yeah.
Oh, you're going on XP. Well, at least I'm at Windows 11.
But Wayne, if you're only mixing, latency doesn't matter really. I mean, if
No.
you're tracking, it's another thing. But if you're only mixing, you don't really care about latency,
No. So I did a bit of an experiment. With the DAW, and I was trying to work out whether it was my PC or whether it was my DAW. So you got two tracks, and I inserted a signal generator into each of the tracks, and then I sent both of those tracks to the left and right, and looked at what they would sum. And the sum wasn't quite. It was almost correct, but not quite. So I did another little fancy thing. I thought then I'll record those two tracks. So I record those two tracks again, and then I'd have spread the waveform out, and they were off. So I lined them back up again. It was very good. Now, would that be my PC not being able to?
Probably could be anything, even IO latency into the while you're saving something that's being recorded. If the better the machine, the wider the bus, the more processing, the less risk of that kind of thing happening.
Well, how are you bringing it in? Are you doing two channels on a mixer and you're just panning them?
Oh no, it's just totally within the DAW. No external stuff whatsoever. Just
so it's
totally
the oscillator built in the DAW?
Yeah. So I thought that every time you added an oscillator, my processor in my PC was working hard, if you know what I mean. Maybe. But it's a HP, it's a 800 SFET. It's a pretty, it's an i7. It's a fairly motivated machine.
But is it hitting two channels on your DAW?
Sorry?
Are you going into two separate channels on your DAW?
Yeah, so what I do is I insert one signal generator into one channel, and turn everything off, and the other one, another one, and because you can just keep adding them on every channel.
But the source is the same. It's not a separate signal generator.
Well, I'm not sure about that. That's because I every time you do the plugin, because it's a plugin within the DAW, I just
do you have an EQ or anything else turned on?
No, turn everything else off. And I just put the two faders at unity, and because there was a couple of times there. So I haven't tried that with Pro 12. So the earlier one, I noticed a difference, and I just thought it was my PC, to be quite honest.
Well, look at the bright side, Wayne. They let you in the door. That's all I could say, because the way you pronounce it is door, where we all pronounce it, differently. I don't know.
What do you call? Well, I call him.
You notice his accent sounds like he's going to open the door, rather than a DAW.
Well, it's a rivage, isn't it? It's like a console, a Yamaha console. It's a rivage, isn't it? Or is it a rivage? It's spelled rivage, isn't it?
I don't know. I got to go out and wash my car.
There's a guy named Matty Tech. Have you seen this guy, Matty Tech? He's got all these tips and tricks on how to operate your computer, and he pronounces all of the words incorrectly, and it's hilarious. He seems so stupid, but he's really a smart guy.
What, his name is Matty Tech, as in MADI. So his
no,
thing is
MATTY.
Oh, Matty, MATTY. Okay.
Yeah. If I didn't spell it, you would never know the difference.
Because I would love to meet somebody known as Matty Tech that works with MADI, because we had some mysterious snapping noises the last time I was with my Digico console, and we never did nail it down to exactly what it was.
Okay,
Ken. We haven't heard from Sully either to find out whether he solved his problem.
Yes, he did.
Oh, he did.
Yeah.
Well, Chris might have an answer for you.
Ken,
yeah, Chris.
So, Ken, you must have seen this. The guy that covers Luke Combs. Did you see that where he's using the Yamaha RXEX over Matty,
Yeah, as an effects server, basically.
Sounds like a fantastic idea, and
Plugin server. You think so?
well, yeah, because of the robustness of it, that'll be solid because it's in the Yamaha ecosystem, and he controls it with MIDI. If you saw that, that's a pretty interesting video. And
that was interesting. I need to watch it again because I only
The other one is that he also, you have the Bricasti reverbs on the unit, and he wanted like 5 of them for that, and it was cheaper to get the Ravage engine instead of getting 5 Bricastis.
I looked at the price of the Ravage engine; it was about $18,000. Sweetwater,
Which is
right?
5 Bricastis.
Oh no! Well, of course, right? I like those guys up in Boston, but
Yeah.
that's a great. Yeah, look at the cost difference to do that, and it sounded like it had solid performance. Really good.
I believe Ken Porter does Luke Combs. I mean, I believe he provides the
Special Event Services Concert Stuff Group does them.
Oh, you don't? Okay.
The guy that does it, if I had a chance, I'm in the middle of booting up a PC here in the back, just the one hardware PC I have when I have to be hardware, and so but that's a really good video. But I would say that the best video was when I watched Robert today live talking about EAW speakers with electronic directivity.
Noise abatement, yes. That was a very good.
He has grown as a presenter. He did a fantastic job on that. It didn't have to be speakers, but I don't know that there was a discussion in the end, but I don't know how many people saw that, but I would highly recommend that because it's a good overview on different kinds of line arrays, point source. So that's a killer video. If you're going to watch a video, boy.
Yeah.
Well, I will tell you, Chris, that Robert was on our show and did a real in-depth walkthrough of the whole aspect of speaker systems regarding EAW, and that's on our channel as well, which is great. He did a phenomenal job.
I knew that. I knew that was on there. I haven't had a chance to look at that, but I mean, he's a terrific representative for EAW.
He's a terrific representative for anything he does. The guy's amazing.
So
he's really heads and shoulders.
Isn't that the one that you had to take down, Jan?
No, I didn't. I didn't have to take the EAW part down. I had to take down that of the.
I thought you took down the whole thing.
No. I had to. What I had to do is re-edit it and get rid of everything about the sphere.
Nice.
They didn't want anything about the sphere. But you know what? I found the video. I found the video of how the sphere works, that they interviewed the people with the sphere, and I saw that. I made a note of it and copied the link. I'll have to get that link for you guys. It's very impressive how the hollow plot system works. So I don't understand why they made such a big deal over it when it's already out there in the wild.
I have a question for you about the hollow plot. I was told this week that hollow plot has a patent on LED screens in front of speakers. Is this true?
I bet they do.
Heard that,
what have they patented? What process? Because aren't those things like a half an inch or a 3/4 inch round dot, like every 3 inches and 4 inches because the distance they are apart?
It's very possible. Hey, Kenny, I want to switch the subject a little bit because, everybody in this room and everybody in the world knows that we just lost Dolly Parton, and I'm sure you had some experiences with her from the Grand Ole Opry days. Are you still there? Yes.
Yes, I am.
I mean, Nashville must be reeling right now.
It is a little bit. Did you also see the Tim Curry pass this week too?
Yeah, Tim. I have a story about Tim Curry. I don't have any about Dolly Parton, but I'm hoping you have something.
That's 2 that were 80-year-olds died. Who's the next 80-year-old this week?
And when each of those passed away, each of those announcements happened, friends of mine said they got the wrong one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Yep.
Larry Italia also died this week. I don't
He
know if you
died
know
last
that.
Friday.
Yeah. Larry Italia. I got
wait. He wasn't old, was he?
He's 69.
Oh man. Larry
well,
Italia
here's
is
what
no longer
happened.
with us. Are you
Yeah.
serious?
Yeah, I got a call from Ted Powell of all
Oh
people. I
my
don't know why
God.
he called me, but he
Oh my
called me
God.
to, I guess, bad news travels fast. And
Ugh.
evidently he lives up in the mountains, or he'd lived up in the mountains, was driving down to get his mail, and he went off the cliff. And his car tumbled down, and then he never really recuperated from that. That's what I heard. Don't
Oh
know if
my
it's
God.
All
true.
right, hang
That
on a
Do your own
minute.
sucks.
research.
We got to have stories.
Wow. But you got
But
stories about
Okay.
Dolly Parton, I bet, huh, Ken?
Well, I got Dolly Parton, some Dolly Parton stories. Stella, I've done stuff with Stella and with her brother, Randy Parton. And
But I
Dolly,
got a question for you. I want to focus you a little bit because you started your career at the Grand Ole Opry. So she used to play the Grand Ole Opry in those days.
by that time, she didn't play that much. She played mostly in the 70s and was out doing movies and other stuff in the 80s when I was there. I was there from 84 to 91. But she always was nice and everybody's friends and stuff like that. It was kind of a very nice lady. She did a lot of stuff, the reading book. In fact, I still have a Dolly Parton license plate for the Imagination Library that she sponsored and that does and make sure kids have books that they learn how to read.
Do you know what that involves? I heard about what that involved this morning, and I was like, "Oh my God, that's incredible!"
Yep.
Millions and millions of books sent out to young kids under 5 years old. I forget what the criteria was, how they get on that list, but she or her organization would send out books every month to millions and millions of kids, and they probably still do it now. I was like blown away
They do.
that happens.
If you go to, and it's imaginationlibrary.com. I posted it on my Facebook page, and it's all over the world now. They will send books for free everywhere all over the world.
It's amazing. And you know why? It's because her father did not know how to read. Is that right, Ken?
That's correct.
Yeah, I think that's what I heard. Anyway, it's just an incredible lady. I mean, and did you hear what she did with the proceeds of the the royalties for Whitney Houston's version of her song?
No.
Somebody must have read that.
That was the third time it went #1 too.
I read it, but I don't remember what it said.
It's something very heavy. I don't remember exactly either. I was hoping somebody else would remember, but it was something really great, like tens of millions of dollars put towards a certain area or something. It was great.
She was a major philanthropist. During COVID, she gave away millions of dollars. I mean, she always seemed so nice. I mean, what a personality she had.
He donated $1 million for the vaccine, for the COVID vaccine, to get it developed.
And that was just part of it because a lot of it also went to, she paid a lot of money, gave a lot of money to Vanderbilt Hospital.
Yeah, that's where it went. Yes, I remember hearing that from Michael Strickland. And that's when I felt, wow, that's a good investment to invest in that kind of medical research, and which I did, of AstraZeneca, because that was part of the deal when he was talking about it. So, and that stock has grown amazingly amount. So, thank you, Michael, if you're listening,
I
for
thought
telling
it was
us the story.
Moderna that she donated to through Vanderbilt, because Moderna did their research at Vanderbilt Hospital.
See, that was my mistake. I didn't do my own research. Damn, I bought the wrong stock. Oh, well.
AstraZeneca did very well during that.
Yeah, they sure did.
Okay. So in Dolly, yes, it's a mess. Dolly was a very interesting person because she ended up being, just everybody knew her. And if you read this and know the story of that, when she first came to town when she was like 16 or 17, and then she came to did some stuff, and then she moved here. And then the first day or two she was here, she was doing her laundry at the Wishy Washy and met Carl Dean, and they ended up getting married like a year later. And you never saw him. You never, in the events you saw Dolly out, you never saw Carl Dean with her. but they always were together at home in the church and stuff like that. But he didn't really come out. You never saw him at any events or anything.
So do you know anything about him?
He was a general contractor in town.
Okay.
And that's about it that I know of. He was very quiet, didn't get out much, whatever. And
Well, he
then,
didn't stay home and watch the children, that's for sure, so
well, that's
because
because
they didn't have any children.
Well, the story basically is that when they got married, her 5 younger siblings came to live with them, and she basically raised them.
Yeah, so probably she had no privacy,
Yep.
And that was with Carl?
Hang on a minute.
Yeah, that was what I read that too. I read that too. Or saw a video on it.
She was from a family of how many siblings? How many kids? Like
12.
11 or 12? 12 kids. And was she the oldest or the youngest or anything?
Number 4.
Oh, wow.
Thanks.
How about that? So her
I heard the whole
siblings,
family was kind of musical.
Wow.
Well, it was around growing up, they were, my mother-in-law grew up near them too and knows all the stuff too, but she she was like the middle of was it 12 kids or 14 kids, something like that. And she ended up, they weren't her and Carl's kids, it was her siblings. And I believe Randy was one of them. I believe Stella was one of them too. And they came to live with her and grew up and went through school in Nashville out of East Tennessee. And that's kind of why she spent more time doing that and then got up busy with everything else. So it could be medical. I know that like 3 or 4 months ago, they said she wasn't doing much because she had some issues with her kidneys. But I kind of wonder if it ended up being kidney cancer or whatever that she was dealing with, because that's not an easy one to get over. That's what took out of one of my employees, Dave Hager, died from kidney cancer.
Wow, man.
Yeah.
Well, so does
they're
she
making
still,
major breakthroughs
does
now in
Dollywood-
cancer research. Major breakthroughs in cancer. They just have a major breakthrough in Alzheimer's cure right now as well, which is pretty impressive.
They may have these breakthroughs, but some people would say, and I'm not sure I agree with them, that the pharmaceutical and medical industries will keep those breakthroughs from actually taking effect because there's so much money to be made on these diseases. But that's besides what I was going to ask Ken. Does Dollywood still exist, Ken?
Yes.
Oh, yes. It's doing great. In fact, I even heard a ad with her talking on the way home tonight.
Yeah.
How about
saying,
that?
come on to Dollywood and stuff like that, because you're getting ready for the fall at Dollywood and you get the leaf peeking and all that stuff coming up.
I heard that she has often paid for her employees to go to school or something like that, right?
Yep.
That's like amazing.
Yep. I mean,
how big is that Dollywood place?
it used to be a Silver Dollar City until it became Dollywood, and it probably, you can spend a day and maybe hit all the rides.
Okay.
It's like Six Flags-ish or something like that,
Oh, okay. How about that?
All right.
Wow.
We do. Okay.
Amazing.
We want to talk about Larry.
Yes, let's talk about Larry.
Okay. The one who knows more is Lewis at High Tech. But what I know is 2 years ago, this coming October, next month maybe, Larry was in Germany at a planning meeting with the Germans and all stuff there for like a week, going to stuff.
Well, let me interject. Larry was with Yamaha for years and years and years, and then he went to D&B. That's why he was in Germany.
Well, he worked for Yamaha, started out there as a regional, and then moved up to general manager and stuff of that. And then they had a cleaning house. And then he went to work for Shadone and was running Shadone's integration and started the integration department with Shadone and took it, got it growing. And then he got the job with DMB and was there for 9 years, 8 years, something like that. But so he was in DMB for a meeting, flying back from Frankfurt to LAX, got in his pickup truck and was driving down. He still lived about an hour and a half away from LAX, maybe 2 hours. And he's up in the mountains over San Diego. And he stopped at the bottom of the mountain and got out and got his mail and put it in a truck. He went up the mountain, and as he started to go up, there was fog coming in. Well, while he was gone, he didn't know that the California Power Company had come, buried some lines underground so they wouldn't catch stuff on fire. And some of the fluorescent markers got removed. And he was coming up the mountain, he was pretty much in fog, and his right front tire he felt it sliding a little. He turned left and was kind of gunning it, and all of a sudden it just went off the edge and ended down the mountain and ended up upside down on the bottom. So he said he crawled out, found his phone, he crawled out and called his wife, and she called rescue. And then he sat there and waited a little bit. He said he kind of felt kind of fine at the time, but some pains here and there. And they had to rappel down to the truck. And he said, "Oh, you guys made it." I said, "Thanks. Can you just get me up out of here and I'll go home?" And they said, "You aren't going home," because he had a hematoma that he didn't know on his head. It was, coming up. He said after he got in the ambulance and going to the hospital in San Diego, he said he started feeling how bad he was. And the doctor walks in and looks at him and said, "Well, first off, he asked him, were you wearing a seatbelt?" And he said, "Well, yeah, because you didn't want to say that you haven't write him a ticket for not having a seatbelt because he just jumped in his car and drove that." And he said, "Well, 8 out of 10 people that are in this kind of accident don't make it. And the other 2 wish they hadn't." So he went through, there was one that he had like a bunch of ribs broke on the side. He had the hematoma in his head that they had to deal with for a couple days. He broke a bone in his hand. There was something else in a leg that he had there. And so he spent a week in doing all that stuff. And then when they were kind of getting released and thought they had them all put back together, they said there's something going on with your heart, like a heart murmur or something like that. And they did more tests and worked around and trying to figure out that they had a broken repositioned first rib that was pressing on the back of the heart. And that also the aorta and stuff like that. And so he was healing. They were trying to figure out what to do. They couldn't really do much for it at the moment, because the heart had bounced around. So in January of this year, he found out that I was talking to him about, I heard all the story last June in Infocom. And finally in January, he just, went home, he basically retired. And I'd had meaning to call him, but I didn't. And Lewis did get to see him, went to lunch with him like 2 months ago. And he said he was in a wheelchair, and I believe he was having congestive heart failure issues, along with other problems that were still coming up from that accident. And I would not be surprised if the rib pressing on the heart caused some issues, like inhibiting blood flow into the arteries, into the heart and stuff like that. So, but that's the speculation there. Don't, again, what's the rules?
Yeah, well, do your own research is what we say here.
But I think there's enough to know that, that he struggled for the past 2 years. So.
Wow. So he's no longer struggling. He's
Yep.
with God, as they say, or
Yep.
whatever. Wow. That's sad.
Yep.
He was a great guy.
So there's your triad, Kenny. There you go. You don't have to worry about anybody else right now.
But he's not 80.
Oh, damn.
But we know somebody that is 80.
Yes, we do know somebody who's 80, and I hear he's.
No, not
Ted
David,
told
not
me that
David,
he's having a hard
not
time
David.
right now.
Who? David
Albert.
Dempsey? Oh, Albert.
No, I
Albert's
wasn't
got to be
talking- I
about
wasn't-
85, 86 now, right?
He just turned 85. He had his 85th birthday. I put the link to his Wikipedia page in the chat there, and his brother got that page happening. It's pretty great.
So, Kenny, when do you get to go back to work again? Because I heard you guys canceled some dates.
Yeah, we're on a hiatus until October 8th is our next show.
So, what are you
In
going to do?
case you have anything going on in September, well, the latter part of September, because I have a vacation planned for the first part of September. But second part of September, I'm looking for something to do.
You just need to extend it and make a whole month of, the older you get, the
On my
more you-
vacation? Yeah, right. Yeah, I can afford that. Yeah, sure.
Where you going on
Thanks, Ken.
vacation, Kenny?
Oh, just Italy.
Just Italy, not Thailand. Hey,
just
sorry.
Italy.
Molto
Yeah.
bene.
Yeah, Cheryl was talking about going to Italy and Switzerland, and we had this trip planned, and we even got our flights to into Italy and out of Switzerland. And then she looked at it and went, you know what? Let's just spend the whole time, 2 weeks in Italy, because there's this mountain range there called the Dolomites. Have you guys heard of the Dolomites? Most people I talk to have not.
Yes.
But in Italy, by the way, in Italy, they're Dolomiti. But
Dolomiti.
here, they're the Dolomites.
Yeah.
So
The
anyway,
beauty-
the Dolomites is what our main destination is.
The beauty of the Dolomites is that they have there's tons of videos on them, and to me they're the most beautiful mountain range in the world. But anyway, the Dolomites, one of the cool things about them is all of the ski lifts that are open for the skiing season are open in the summer season, so that even if you're not as healthy as you need to be to hike up, you can take the gondolas
ski lift
to the
up
top,
to the top. Huh?
yeah,
Wow,
and
how
then
about
walk
that?
around and then come back down.
Oh,
Do they do
thanks.
mountain
That's a
biking
great tip.
on that?
They do
Because a lot of
mountain
ski
biking.
places do mountain biking.
They also do longboard.
Like, oh, you
The
mean like
off-road
a skiing kind of
skateboard,
thing?
longboard that's 4 foot long.
Yeah,
Right,
Chris
right.
has been there, I believe, right? Chris, you spent some time in the Dolomites.
Me?
No, Chris Coos.
Oh,
No, I've not been there. I know of them, but have not haven't had a chance to visit them.
You were in France all that time, and you never got up to Italy?
I went to Italy, went to Austria, kind of went all over Spain and on, but just didn't get to that particular section of Italy.
Yeah, I was just in Italy myself, and I didn't get to the Dolomites.
But you hung out at Lake Como. Tell me about Lake Como.
Oh man, what a pretty lake! It's
Lac
nothing
di
but
Como.
really deep mountains, so everything is up. But the lake is beautiful. It has really old, fabulous buildings.
The other thing that's cool about the that region of the Alps is the Via Ferratas. Unfortunately, I'm not healthy enough to do that stuff anymore. But what it is during World War One, the soldiers, had to keep watches on top of the mountain to see if an army was coming over. So they built like a rope, a steel cable system, so that army guys who aren't climbers can go to the top. And so it's a way for you to do some mountain climbing, but you wear a double harness, and then you click, you get to the next one, you click, and therefore you're always attached. But I mean, you should watch some of those things. I mean, you need big balls.
Yeah, something tells me I'm not doing that, but thanks for that.
I just saw a little factoid about Lac di Como. The mayor apparently was down wandering around on the sidewalk near the lake, and he got hit by an e-bike. So e-bikes are no longer permitted around the border of Lac di
nice.
Como.
He got pissed off.
So in the when they were talking about the climbing stuff up that mountain, is that where in World War One there's one of those mountains in the northern Italy where they had backpacked, they couldn't take it up there, but they basically carried cannons up on the mountain and mounted them and ammunition to fire on the troops that were trying to invade them down in the valley.
Wow, is that right? How about that?
But I think
that's what I'm talking about.
Is that the same place?
Yeah.
There's still cannons up there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And some of those cabins where the army was staying while they were up on the mountain range, because I mean, it could be cold, it could be snowing, whatever. Some of those cabins, which were built with rocks and whatever, I mean, they're still there for you to visit, but obviously they're not. They're there for the scenery, but they're not useful anymore. Also, that's actually weird. If you're into the hiking bit, they have what's called refugios. So you can actually hike from one mountain to the other, and then they have like it's a restaurant, and it's there's a whole bunch of beds up there, and so you could keep on hiking from one mountain to the other, and you just basically don't have to go all the way back down, and you show up at these places, they feed you, they give you beds, and then you move on to the next mountain
That's
thing.
if you're
Anyway,
really into
some
hiking,
pretty
I
cool
guess.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do they have
Something
a
tells
zip
me
line
we're
from
not that
mountain to
into
mountain?
hiking.
Do they have zip line from mountain to mountain?
Some mountains,
That would be a Tyrolean traverse, if I am not mistaken.
I think they have that attraction over at Dollywood. I don't quote me on that, but I think they do.
Where I saw the story about that, the cannons up in a mountain, is a show on Discovery called Mysteries of the Abandoned. And they have lots of stuff with different things. There's a lot of things on there that's kind of interesting, like the Salton Sea in California, how it was made, and what the problems is with it, and all that stuff there. There's a lot of
What show is that?
Mysteries of the Abandoned.
Thanks.
It's on Amazon, I do believe. But there's some great stories in there. Some scary stuff, but it's pretty interesting.
I'm sure you could find it on YouTube if you check YouTube. I'm sure everything's on YouTube.
I'll have to check it out.
By the way, speaking of Mysteries of the Abandoned, I got another thing that has passed away is Columbia House. You guys remember Columbia House?
Started my record career.
Yeah.
After 71 years, Columbia House is shutting down for good. The mail-order music giant, which once had 16 million members, survived the transition from vinyl to tape, CDs, and even DVDs, but ultimately could not survive streaming.
I mean, that means I'm probably feeling relieved because I probably still owed him $5 or something.
Yeah. Well, you know what? They would, for 1 penny, you could get 16 CDs,
I got Rush 2112 in one of my 16 CDs.
There you go.
Yeah.
I did post in the chat the Ravage engine thing for Luke Combs guy.
Yeah, I thought that was a Dela Cruz video.
Yeah,
I watch all of Dela Cruz's interviews. They're really good. He's doing a good job. He is.
So a little bit ago, you said something funny. You called Lake Como old, and what got my attention about that is it's no older than any other lake on the planet, but because it's from Italy, we say things like that. It was really old. Whoa, okay, but Lake Shasta is just as old.
Well, it's also really deep. It's 1,400 feet deep. Tahoe is 1,600.
Did you say 14 million?
1,400 feet deep.
Oh, okay.
That's really deep for a lake. Tahoe is 1,600, and 1,400 is.
So it's like Crater Lake. It's another Crater Lake, right?
I don't know how deep Crater Lake is.
I thought it was very deep.
Yes, you're right.
Well, isn't Lake? What about Lake Tahoe, David?
What about Lake Tahoe? It's 1,600.
Isn't that like the deepest water lake in the United States?
It might be second to Crater Lake, but it's got so much water in it because it's so deep that it'll cover the state of California with 14 inches of water. You got to think about that. The entire state under a foot of water, just from the water in one lake.
Well, and you can see to
it's
the bottom.
so deep that it's always cold.
Yes, it never freezes. And Como was delightful, by the way. It was really nice to swim in.
Yeah.
All right, somebody's got some background talking going on there.
Michael.
So I got a question for you, Jan, Mr. Zoom.
Yes.
I'm working on a new computer here. And my old computer, I had two windows in Zoom. I had the gallery window and the speaker window. How do I turn on that speaker window? I can't find it.
You go up to the right-hand corner, and there's like a box that looks like it looks like a bunch of dots, like a square box of dots in the
Yeah,
right-hand
that
corner.
shows me the different views. But I need to add another. Well, I mean, if I click it to speaker, then it just brings speaker to the main window. I need another window, is what I'm looking
Another
for.
window. Then you go into Zoom and you add a second window.
And where do you do that?
You could go into I believe video settings. You go down video and effect settings, I believe.
Yeah, I've been looking for it. I can't turn on second window. It must be there, right?
Yes, it must be. Let me see if I can
But
find it for you real quick while we talk
Thanks.
about something else.
Hey,
Thanks.
something else is, has anybody looked at the new Shure soundbar that they've come out with that has speakers, microphone, 4K camera? And right now, the only thing that I'm a little concerned about is set up for Microsoft Teams that in native in it, but they can get to Zoom, but I don't know how to get there. They might have to do some updates on it to get to Zoom. Has anybody looked at this yet?
I saw the brochure on it. It looks like a very interesting device. It's quite expensive. If from memory, it's somewhere around 5 or 6 grand.
Yeah, Logitech's had one out for a while that does Teams or Zoom.
Why would you spend all that money to use Microsoft Teams?
No. As a matter of fact, I asked that exact question, and the issue is that it's got a lot of stuff built into it. It's not just a sound bar. It's got mics, it's got cameras, it's got speakers, it's got connectivity, it's got storage, it's got a whole bunch of stuff under the hood.
It runs its own OS. It's basically a computer.
But I just didn't know if anybody, what it's going to take to get to where it can get to Zoom on it. But for business conference rooms and stuff, that's going to be, pretty easy.
Anybody here by chance mixing a show in Provo this weekend outside of Provo? No. All right.
Well, there's your answer. Nobody said anything.
Well, that's good because I'll be playing that show. So
Provo, Utah, and what kind of
you could have invited me.
I'm just drumming in a band, but we're playing at some music festival outside of Provo, so that'll be interesting.
So got another one for you. Sunday, I was watching the Formula One race from Europe, whatever, I can't remember where it was, and they had a point where Netherlands, and when they had after they had a point where they did start the music of the thing, and they did a fireworks shot, but it sounded like a drum cadence because they timed it, like a roll, with multiple pyro shots for a little bit of the drum cadence start to the music.
That's like the 1812 overture. Yeah, they've done that a lot.
No, but this was, what overture was it?
1812.
Oh, 1812. No, but this is like it was snare drum shots.
Wow.
It was like that crack of a snare drum shot. So it sounded like a military, a drum cadence.
Got it. That's pretty cool.
And I thought that was kind of fun to do, program that or tie that into a show. I wonder if anybody EDM had done something with, pyro, done that in pyro, starting in an EDM to a drum shot.
KGB radio station in San Diego, 30 years ago, did their first Sky show on Mission Bay, and then they eventually did it there for a year or two, and then they moved it to the stadium and did it after Padres games. They did it for years and years, where they would play Sousa marches and stuff like that.
But wasn't that the one that exploded a few years back?
I don't think that was. I don't think that was Sky Show, but it wasn't. There was that one in San Diego where the whole show went up in 30 seconds.
Yeah,
it was pretty dramatic.
Katy Perry sampled the sound of an explosion and layered that on to the kick drum for one of her songs.
I have an interesting pyro story. So a lighting guy from the Montreal area was very, famous. Was doing a lot of artists in the province, and he died of a asthma attack in the car, driving after a show to the next show with the tour manager, the lighting guy, not the lighting guy, but the backline guy, the sound guy, the monitor guy. They were all in the same van, and he passed away from his asthma attack. So anyway, one of his side job was he worked for a pyro company. And in Montreal, they have, the annual pyro show. So China's one day, and America's another day, Canada's another day. And so when they did the Canadian show, which was a Montreal company, he was a Pink Floyd fan. And so during the show, the biggest explosion of the night, they put some of his powder, like, when they incinerate you, into that explosion, so that when all of his buddies went to see the show and the biggest bang of the night, he was in there. And I thought, man, that's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah. If somebody wants the ashes of a dead man, that's really cool.
Yeah, I know. I mean, the ashes, obviously the ashes are not going to make it down to the ground. That's not the point there, Jan. But, think, I thought it was a pretty cool thing for them to do,
When you said that, when you were telling that story, I was thinking about this comedian that once said that he wants to die, he wants to die in his sleep like his grandfather did, rather than the way the passengers in his car went,
Okay.
All right, we're gonna do jokes of the day. I got you a granddad joke.
Okay.
That joke is not like the passengers screaming like the passengers next to them.
Yes, that's right.
So I've decided I'm going to start doing some senior dating, and I'm looking at sites, and so I found one I'm going to go with, and it's called Carbon Dating.
Hey, I like to actually ask Mr. Porter a question, because I've been thinking about this, because Mr. Porter complains a lot about this, sound guys want this console and sound guys want this console, and I understand from his perspective, having to give these guys what they're looking for. So my question for Mr. Porter is, from your point of view, what console works best? Like when you're looking at the business sense for you, what's the console that makes the most sense out there for your market?
You kind of is what is asked for, what's rentable, what people want. And you got to consider that most engineers, and most you guys are like this, a lot of them, they start out with, a starter console, and they're playing in clubs and bands, and then they end up with one truck and the stuff there. And usually when they start with that's where Digico has made such a football, because at SD9, everybody had SD9s and took them out, and everybody was used to that workflow. And Yamaha kind of did a dump after the 5D, it kind of slowed down, but they've come back, now they're coming with that, and they got the 3, the 5, the 10s and stuff there. So that's coming on. And then everybody just has jumped to the SSL just because of the sound, when they do it. But the most part, it's kind of what you grew up on, what you're doing. You got to consider that for years in my warehouse, I always thought the SSL was my best sounding, and the Rivage was the second best. And the one you got to consider, though, too, is that inherently over the years, Yamaha has been my least problem of maintenance, whereas the Avid has been in and out of shops, and every time it comes back, the cards fall out of it, and you got to stick them back in and hold them and stuff like that. So it's a little bit there, SSL is probably the second one. And then, I still have a lot of people on Digico. Now, the question that I've been posing around is that there's basically 4 or 5 major touring consoles, and that's it. But why do we have so many blooming sound PA manufacturers and only a few consoles?
Well, actually, you've got Stage Tech now, right? And now you're now pushing the Stage Tech because it's an excellent console.
Yeah,
I'm wondering, like Ken, you say there's so many PA companies, but really, you got the main 3, and who are you talking about after that?
Okay, let's start running by names. Okay, you got everybody keeps, of course, I get chased by everybody when it's stuff. You got DMB, L Acoustics, Meyer. Then you go to, let's see, Meyer. You got EAW.
JBL.
You got
Cohesion.
Avid. You've got, I'm not Avid, but Adamson. You got PK.
RCF.
So
RCF. That's an Italy. RCF. What's the one? There's the ribbon one down in Texas.
Alcon.
Alcon. And there's another one over in Dallas too, in Fort Worth or somewhere around there that I can't remember them too. And then you go into, of course, manufacturers of EV and who else we had?
Coda?
Well, Coda's German. You got Coda's coming on.
Okay, Coda now, by the way, just an FYI, I'm going to stop you here. Mike Metting from old days of Crest, he's coming on the show to talk about Coda speakers on September 9th. So he'll be talking about, and they got a new system called the Space Speakers, which, anyway, yeah, but there's a ton. I mean, there's a ton of speaker manufacturers. What's that company out of I forgot the guy's name, who out of Colorado, who used to be the Sennheiser rep, and then now he's representing a company out of Italy that's selling speakers now as well.
Well,
Can't
if you ask
remember
me,
his
name.
there's only
Outline.
two.
Yeah. In Italy,
Yeah.
it's Outline, and I forget who the other one is. So I'm going to go back to Ken for a second. So Ken, the most roadworthy console is the Yamaha. Would that be your?
That's the one I've had the least maintenance to deal with, least repairs and stuff over time. And
what about and SSL? How have SSL been for you?
Well, let's put it this way. I had to update all of my consoles. I had 8 550s, and I did a refresh on all of them because I had problems with power supplies. I could get a replacement power supply, and the new power supplies that they have does not fit into the desk. And I realized that my 8 desk had 4 different versions of power supplies.
Jeez.
And so
this is the SSL, Kenny, not the Avid.
No, SSL.
Not the S6L.
Yeah, the Avid problem is that stage rack that it bounced in the truck. In the cards with the DSP, where the cards would bounce out of it, and you had to open it up and try and plug it all back together and keep it together to work. And then sometimes the Cat 6s were fit right inside the desk, and they would fall out, and you got to open it up and replug those in.
Ken, are you familiar with the TCA Tour console now that the SSL's come out with?
That little one?
Yeah, the little one, 16 channel, very portable, fits in the back seat of the car.
It's kind of cute, yes.
Well, I mean, it's the same software, so with the right stage box.
I'm looking at. I had a quote for them for a System T with that as the ancillary console, to where they put the music mixer in the room of the video truck and put that console in the production room, running production mics and stuff like that, with the director right next to him.
Okay.
Right. You also have Violet Audio now. We had those guys on.
Yeah.
Although it's not a Surface.
Yeah. Ken, so those TCAs though for opening acts that can't, don't have the money for the 550s but want that SSL sound, wouldn't that work?
Yes, it would.
Do you have any of the new Midases? The what are they? H96s, I think is what.
HD.
No, I haven't done those. There's a couple engineers in town, whatever, around that have bought them for themselves and they rent them to the band, but I haven't done that.
Would you consider those prosumer now?
That's a pro board as far as.
Well, it's a pro board. The bigger issue is it's a whole different workflow. And front of house engineers are lazy and they don't want to have to learn something new.
Well, isn't every platform a new workflow? I haven't tried to work on an S6, and every time I look at it, it's all Greek to me.
Well, David's a console hopper. David
Yeah, well,
Dancy.
he knows all the workflows.
I use
But
them all.
Don't you also have to have the 96 plugged into the cloud for it to operate or to do
No,
it?
no, that's
no,
not
it
true.
does
No,
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 no.
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 I mean, it doesn't mind if you do, but most people that I've talked to said they disconnect it from the internet purposely.
I did 2 shows with it. I have to say, sounded great. I actually prepared a file that was really, really solid. The effects, the TC reverb sounds amazing. The everything about like the power inside the console is really powerful. I mean, like you don't need to go outside of that console other than D feedback. I from what I've from the 2 shows I did with them, I could live with that console without having to go outside other
Well,
than D feedback.
I had a great time with that board, and I like the screen. It's got a huge screen.
21-inch.
Yeah.
Well,
It
that's
gives you
because
a
you're
lot
getting
of-
old and can't see. You need bigger screens for old
Well,
man.
that's life. That's how it goes. When you get
And
older,
and
you
what
can't see
about
as
what
well.
about the what about the entry into the touring market now from Allen and Heath? We had Tom Durr on last week, and he was 2 weeks ago, and I mean it seems like Allen and Heath is now starting to make a major inroad into the concert touring world.
D-Lives are good. I've used D-Lives.
Well, again, that's where they, in the small bands, they take out the 1500 with the ear pack and stuff there, and sometimes do everything. And then as they go up, they step up to 1500 and go to the 5000.
Natural progression, yeah,
Yep.
kind of like the old days when you had a small Yamaha and went to a big Yamaha.
Right, but the other thing too, though, with Allen and Heath, they're especially with D-Lives, they've adopted Digico workflows. So if
Not good.
you can graduate from a D-Live to a large format Digico pretty easily, and you still got to rebuild your file, but getting from point A to point B, etc., and it's easier to navigate if you have that background.
Well, a lot of people that plug-in card with the DSP built into it is a game changer for them because they can live with it, and hopefully sooner they'll get the feedback in that card too.
Well, let me ask you this. What is the number one choice right now? If you would say, what console do you have the most demand for? Wouldn't that be a Digico?
Yes.
And now is all your consoles Quantum now?
Yes.
So are we talking all
no.
338s and 225s or just Quantum SD5s and Quantum SD7s?
I may
and
have
852s?
a couple SD9s. I have 6 112s. I have what I got? 6 or 8 225 regulars, and then I'm up to either 12 or 14 dual screen. I have
Holy jeez, I bet Digico loves you.
I have 12 326s, and I have 30 338s.
Oh, I don't know what a 326 is.
It's the half size of the 338. It just has the bank on it, but
Oh, how about
same
that?
software and
Oh.
everything. And
Two
it's
screens?
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
2 screens.
What are you using now, Kenny?
Old SD5, non-quantum.
And so 338s, and then I've got 6 or 7, 6 or 8, I can't remember, of quantum sevens, 2 quantum 8s. And
Oh wow.
I've been informed that next month I'm going to have to put an order in for something else.
Wow. So and those are all what people are asking for apparently, right?
Yep. The one that doesn't rent the least of all that is probably the Quantum 8, because they had some people that had to have it, but everybody realized it's too big. Even in Broadway doesn't want to use it, and a lot of touring stuff, it takes up too much space in the mix position for anybody. And so
it's really tall too.
Yeah.
So sitting behind it's like a no-go.
But the problem with the 1112 is not enough buses. Like they need to come up with the pulse version as soon as possible for that, because that's the problem. I mean, it's small, it's portable, but only 24 buses. If you're stuck doing monitors from front of house, you can't live with just 24 buses.
Yeah, but I heard
That is,
like big giant shows like George Strait are using that for front of house, right?
well, they tried, but they ended up, they got a
Oh,
36.
oh. So let me ask you this. The faders, I'm led to believe, and this may not be true, but I'm led to believe the faders are not as good on the newer ones, the 338s, the 225s, than the old SD series. Is that causing a problem at all?
Not really. There's some, you can do some upgrades on faders on some consoles, and it just really, nobody's asking for it. It doesn't really affect them.
Okay. All right, cool.
Um,
Kenny, who's your D&B rep?
Jeremy Sewell.
I take it he takes you out for steak and expensive wine dinners all the time, eh?
I haven't talked to him in almost a year and a half.
What a customer. I love it. You're the best.
He used to work for me.
You must stay very busy in order to have that kind of inventory, Ken. That's good for you.
It's kind of crazy, but yeah, I just
Wow, good
see.
for you.
Here's
He
the thing
just
too.
likes spending money. That's all there is to it. He just can't spend enough of it.
Here's the point: is that sound systems doesn't get you a tour. Consoles, board groups, and packaging gets you the tour. And the other thing about it too is that that's where the money is, because I will lease rent board groups anywhere from 24 to 36 weeks a year, whereas I'm lucky to get 20 weeks out of Racks and Stacks rental. A lot of times it's like 16 in a year. So the point is that the engineer that has control of the stuff, what he's most interested in is what he's touching, and then what the monitor engineer needs, and then what wireless you need. And right now, I have bought more, in the past couple months, I have doubled my Sennheiser, list, and that's what everybody's going to at the moment because everybody's very happy with it now. And
Is this the Spectera?
Yep.
What about sound devices? Are you getting any of that stuff?
I have several sound devices system. I have some of the little ones I use for drive rack tuning, whatever, with that, the single or the double, the smaller ones. I have several big ones with that, and I dearly hope that they bring out the in-ears soon, but the last they tell me it's may not show up till second quarter of next year, which is really going to miss everybody's plan for what they're going to do for input, and they're going to basically drive more business to Spectera.
And is Spectera more, has that got more heat than Axient at the moment?
Oh, yes. Axient has some issues that supposedly they're trying to fix around there, but in the in-ears, but the Spectera in-ears and stuff. The only thing that people have to learn how to do different is with the one belt pack that does ears and guitar, I'm still having to put individual packs on every guitar player, on every guitar, in a separate pack for in-ears, because they can't, when you have cowboy hats and stuff, they're changing guitars and straps and stuff there and having to plug something in that doesn't get plugged in, ends up being a nightmare.
Hey, Kenny, who do you get your condom packs from? The condoms for the belt packs?
I have no idea, to be honest with you.
Oh, okay.
I know a lot of our belt packs, the Spectera, go into the bag, a pouch on the guitar strap. Every guitar strap.
Yeah.
Now that's where all the guitar wirelesses go. Ears, I think most of them, most country singers put them in their back jeans pocket.
Well, I got an artist who's doing that, and he kept killing them with sweat anyway.
Ooh.
So yeah.
Okay. The other one too is the Spectera over the in-ears on Shure. The Shure, sometimes you get you're doing wardrobe change and stuff like that, the knobs get turned or whatever there, whereas Spectera is programmable.
Now, isn't the Spectera made out of metal, whereas the Shure is made out of a different material?
No.
No?
What? Yeah, I think
They're all made out of the same material, more or less.
Well, I don't know
So
if it's
Kenny,
the
so
same,
for
but
every guitar has its own belt pack.
Yep. On Thomas Rhett, I have 100 and either 24 or 130 belt packs on that tour.
That's the one
Wow.
downside
All
to
I can say is
Spectera.
wow.
That's
Good
the
for
one
you, Ken
downside
Porter.
to
That's
Spectera.
amazing.
You're doing
So now,
ears and microphones.
so does that mean you need all those inputs in the console for
No.
each one of the?
no,
How does that
No.
work? Somebody
No,
explain it to me how it works.
They're
It's
they're
turn
not
programmed.
A
playing
off,
two
turn B
guitars
on.
simultaneously. This is-
Well, it depends on how you have things set up. On that tour, they have the whole stage wired. Just they went over the, bands go over top, but they have stage wired with fiber, and they have a wireless. All the wirelesses go back into the Kemper, and the Kemper is on the network when they change the song. When it changes the go button on the console and change the song, it changes everything and changes all the programming and all the Kempers for that song and stuff there, and comes out that way into the console. And
So it's all automated, more or less. So the engineer, all he has to know is which song and which guitar is already going to be programmed for that song.
That's the guitar player. Yeah, they do that in rehearsals and have it all programmed. But
So every one of those packs is on a different frequency, though. Is that true?
Hell no.
No.
I doubt it. There's not enough
Not on
spectrum.
Spectera. There's they divide up one channel into many slices.
Right, but I just mean like you have
I
to have
just
that
think
many receivers.
they just turn them off because there's not enough bandwidth for that many packs in the spectrum.
That's Guitar Tech doing that.
In conjunction with the monitor engineer who's
Yeah, and they may
involved
even
with
be
that.
alternating when a guitar comes off stage, they may grab the pack and put it on the next guitar. You just never know what they're.
No, when they put it in the rack, they turn the pack off.
Right.
Oh, okay, there you go.
Well, that is an awful lot of guitar strings as well. My God.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, buddy. Well,
guitarists
good for you, Ken.
That's why you get endorsements.
That is exactly why you get endorsements.
Yeah, that guy is earning his money.
Yeah. Anyway, listen, guys, we'll stay in the room, but I think it's time to go offline. So what do you guys think about that? Anybody have anything else that they want to say to the audience out there that's listening to us right now?
I just wanted to say, to add to the list of those who departed, Tim Curry passed away too.
Yes.
So
May
we
they
should
all
probably
rest
have
peacefully.
a moment for the folks in Nepal.
yes.
Oh my God. Yeah, that was horrible what happened
discussed.
Did you see the news?
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I didn't hear that. What happened in Nepal?
There was they're not sure whether it was an earthquake or not, but basically it was a landslide that broke the banks of a glacial lake. So all the water and all that water came down, came down from high up in the mountains, and on the Chinese Nepal border. And I mean, just you could see it online.
The video is horrifying.
Yeah. I mean,
So they were
the
basically
wall of water and debris was at least 60 or 70 foot tall.
My God.
Maybe even more than that.
That's insane.
Just look at the video. It's horrifying.
Yeah. I mean, look, there's so many natural disasters right now. Look what's going on in up in the Reno area in Las Vegas, or even worse, Fort Worth is having those major fires. Michael, are you following that? I know you're in Houston, but it's still in your neck of the woods.
Yeah, not that much. It hasn't gotten near my kids or anything yet. So I've got kids up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's in Plano area actually. Yeah, which is in between Fort Worth and Dallas. But
may them be very safe.
So did you see the news today too that in Montreal airport plane hit a ground crew and killed them.
Yeah.
That's become a mess.
No, didn't hear that.
Do you know what aircraft? You know what airlines it
It was
was?
the A320. It was that. It's
Had to
a.
I
be.
guess the main
It's a-
question is: was it a major carrier or was it
It
some
was a. It
fly
was
by
a,
night, so to speak?
trying to remember
Well,
what
it's
it
still
was.
Montreal Airport, so it doesn't really make a difference what kind of carrier it was.
It
I
was.
mean,
It
it's a
was one of
major
the.
airport.
I was
It
just
was a,
thinking
it
that
was a
if it
big
was
plane. It was an A340 or something like that.
oh wow,
A320. Yeah.
320 was it?
wow,
Yeah.
And
wow,
It was.
it was French something. It was a French Canadian airline,
yikes!
and the plane was going to Paris, and it was pushing
Oh
back
man,
and went over somebody.
oh
That's just that.
man.
That means that guy who was doing it is careless because he should have been aware of that. I mean, it's a big plane, you know. He should have been aware of what he was doing. He wasn't probably just wasn't paying attention, and in
The
that
airline is called
situation.
French B. It's a lower tier. So
Regional.
if let's say you got Air
Wow.
France, it's like Flying Blue, and then there's French B. So
Oh,
it's
Well, I
Well,
can't
how
imagine it
bummer.
how
was
the
the
hell is it?
pilot's problem.
Yeah, there's supposed to be a ground guide. How the hell did he,
Exactly.
miss
How the
that?
hell does that happen? Exactly.
Well,
Uh,
he made a mistake, and that was a costly mistake. Yeah, that's the only thing I could figure, unless somebody, unless one of his buddies didn't like him and pushed him in front of the plane, or whatever, as they were backing up, But we'll find out sooner or later. The story will make the news, that's for sure.
He could have had his earbuds in and listening to Alice's restaurant and just not even paid attention.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, hey, people
These
Wow.
use
days,
earbuds and they're
that's
totally
these
Alice's
oblivious to
days.
restaurant.
everything.
Kids these days,
Kids
Having a
these
polite
days, yes.
conversation, and you got to go bring out Arlo Guthrie into it. What the hell?
Yeah. Anyway, I have a story about me and Tim Curry. That night, the night that I met Tim Curry, I also met John Lennon and Alice Cooper and Jimmy Page. So that's a story for another time. We'll talk about it. You should write a book, Jan. Oh, yes, good idea. Maybe I will one day. Anyway, with that in mind, remember, you make it happen. Click the like button. Come and watch us next week for our 327th consecutive episode of Thinking Out Loud with Friends and the panel. And what more can I say? You make it happen. Have a great week, everybody, and be safe, stay healthy, and see you real soon. Bye now. And we'll